everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola and I'm here today with a very special guest, Anna, who wrote, oh God, This Is How We Fly.
Woo!
So Anna, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about This Is How We Fly?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Anna Meriano. I am the author of This Is How We Fly, also the Love, Sugar, Magic trilogy.
And stories in anthology.
Yeah, stories in Up All Night, which you can kind of see back there, and Game On, and Living Beyond Borders. This Is How We Fly is my most recent book. It is my first YA book. It's a coming of age story. It's a very loose Cinderella retelling. It's a sports book.
It's about contemporary Quidditch.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think I had like a slight hint of the Quidditch existing in real life, but it wasn't until I was doing my internships before I graduated college that I would take the subway and people would be in like their Quidditch gear and with their brooms. And I was like, man, this is the coolest thing. I love fandom so freaking much.
I'm excited because I think this is new since the last time we talked. Quidditch is probably going to be going through a name change pretty soon.
Oh, ooh, yes.
It was a long time coming. They've been thinking about it because of Warner Brothers copyright issues. Warner Brothers had kind of said, like, we know you're nonprofit, so like whatever. But like in order to expand, it was getting hard to stay nonprofit. You know, having money to run tournaments, having money to like, we've been opening up a lot of scholarships for athletes, and that all requires money. And you can go get by on donations, but it would be nice to be a like for-profit, you know, selling tickets, selling merch a little bit more. And then more recently, J.K. Rowling existed. And it became a thing where we no longer really wanted to have that be the first association people make with us. Obviously, it's always going to be part of our history. Like, we didn't pick the sticks between our legs at random. And many of us, you know, at some point in our lives loved that, but now we would like to be a little different and get a little more distance from that. Because she's transphobic and also kind of racist, and it's been a long time, and she's not making any efforts to be better, and we're tired of her. So
that's good. Like, that was one of my questions, like, how do you like separate that, like the origin of the sport from the community building that it has represented and that it represents in your book?
Yeah, I think it's so funny because when I wrote the book, it was very much just a stand-in for any community. It just happened to be the community that I was part of, and I thought it would be really fun to write a book where I actually represented like my friends. It's not a very large community, although it's bigger than people expect. It's like international and something like 300 teams in the US. So like bigger than you might think, but still pretty small. So I just thought it would be fun. I was going to be writing, I was interested in writing coming of age novels. I was interested in writing these sort of strange family dynamics. And it just seemed like a cool backdrop. And honestly, like, if I had it to do over again, I might not pick it because it's kind of sad and depressing to always caveat my book by like, but it's not representing those things. I think as a community, we are all beyond that. We're all friends for so many other reasons, or we're all teammates for so many other reasons. We don't think about Harry Potter that much in our like daily experience of Quidditch, which is funny to say, but it's true. And Quidditch has from the very, very beginning been very inclusive in terms of, my experience, it's been inclusive everywhere on all axes. But particularly the leadership, the like people organizing the sport have always been like, LGBT people have been very represented. We have a lot of trans players. We don't separate the teams by gender at all. We let people self-identify. Like, playing on the field, you have to have you can only have a maximum of 4 people of the same gender. But the only like rule for that is, what do you say your gender is? Okay, cool. Like, we've been, I think, at the forefront of that. I don't think there are many sports that haven't run into some sort of problem with the way their rules were written or with the way that their organization thinks that that just let people self-identify and play. So that's cool. And that's something that, like, as a community, we've worked very hard to keep it that way. And we are very passionate about that. So extra frustrating to be like associated with this turf stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
so,
we need, I'm gonna, like, I don't know how to do this in videos, but in the thumbnail, I will include the reworked cover by the one and only you.
My Microsoft Paint
For the,
cover that I loved so much.
Yeah, so instead of Quidditch isn't just for wizards, it's like no turfs allowed, or Quidditch is anti-turf, something like that.
Like J.K. Rowling pulled off the mask right before this book came out.
Yeah.
So it was in like last final pass pages. I was able to go in and like put the words "fuck turfs" in the book, and like that meant a lot to me that I was able to put that. You know, it's I wrote the book before all of that happened, so like big plot points of the book are not dealing with this. More so a little bit in my new story that's coming out in Game On, which is called "Just Tell Them You Play Soccer." Which
I love.
It's another one where I'm like, you know what? Maybe at this point I'm ready to just never write about Quidditch again. So if I had the chance, maybe I wouldn't. Now, like, you know, looking at this book, I did my best, but
it's
unrealistic
like, even
that Ellen wouldn't spend more time thinking about that and like weighing it because of who she is as a character. But at the time that I wrote it, like, she didn't really.
But she didn't really know who she was. So I think it's okay for her to be like, so separated in that way, because she's also not like the biggest Potterhead in the
exactly, which was an intentional choice because a lot of people who play Quidditch aren't, which again sounds funny. People get surprised, but it is true.
What would you say to Ellen if you met her in real life?
Oh, at this point, like right now where I am in my life, I think I would just like be trying to feed her, pat her on the head, like that kind of thing. Be like, have you drunk any water today? Like, she's kind of a mess in that direction. Yeah, I feel like I'd just try to give her a safe place to vent. And
that's sweet though. And if This Is How We Fly got a movie adaptation, who would you want to be the director?
I think last time I said whoever directed the LA Enchanted movie.
Yeah.
But this time I'm gonna at least name one director that I know who doesn't do this type of movie, so that's a bad idea.
I'm gonna say
I'm not gonna say Guillermo del Toro. I changed my mind. He's the only director I know, but I don't think he's the right vibe.
Kenny Ortega does musicals.
Yes, like High School Musical.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yes.
I love him so much.
That's a great idea.
So this is the rapid fire section. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Reformed pantser.
Ooh.
Pantsed this book. Plotted the next one, which is why it's going to be a little better, I hope.
I don't know what you're saying. This book is perfect. Like, this book is incredible. Paperback or hardback?
See, this is tricky because I almost only buy hardbacks now because I'm like, you know, trying to keep up with new releases. But I think I actually prefer paperback.
A book you want everyone to read.
1,500 Miles from the Sun by Johnny Garcia.
And also This Is How We Fly.
And also,
should books be judged by their covers?
I mean, they're gonna be. Should is a strong word, but I realistically, they're going to be judged on their cover.
And lastly, what's your purpose in life?
I think my purpose in life, or at least the purpose that I have chosen in life, is to beam ideas from my brain to other people's brains.
I like that.
Because that's what I do as a writer, and that's what I do as a teacher. And when I was a little kid, that's what I used to like fantasize about being able to do.
This Is How We Fly is about this, like the last summer before you go to college, and it's angsty, and it's about being a teammate, a team player, and finding a community where you least expected. So what do you hope readers take away from Ellen's story?
I'm hoping that people who haven't found that place yet are able to read this book and kind of like picture it. Ellen has a big problem with not being able to picture where she's headed in life. And she, you know, people are like, "Oh, are you excited for college?" And she's like, "I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't even have like any way of conceptualizing being excited for college. What is college going to look like?" And so I think joining the team is a big part of what she gets out of it, is that seeing what the future can be, and like having some excitement for it. So I would love for that to be something that readers take away. And then I've hopefully seen some people who have found that somewhere, whether it's in Quidditch or in some other place. Those readers have come and said, like, it made me feel nostalgic, right? I remember that feeling of being part of a community. So I think, whether it's something you've already experienced and you're kind of like fondly remembering, or whether it's something you haven't experienced yet, just to know that it's there, that you'll find it, that it's like you can find it in unlikely places. You will probably find some weird, thing that nobody else understands, and that's okay, because you'll have your people. Like,
yeah, you can find it in fandom, in a sport, in marching band, which is my next question, because it sounds like this is also a loose retelling about my favorite princess ever, the one, the only, the first one, Snow White. So what can you tell us about that book, and what are you most excited for? Because last time we were like 9 months away from it, and now we're 7. So, woo.
Yeah. Oh, wow, it's getting close. We're in the year. That book, it is a loose Snow White retelling. It's a little bit of that like fish out of water, because participates in marching band for the first time. She's a sophomore, so she would have participated the year before, but they had a hurricane. They just like wiped it all out because of a thing that she does that gets a bunch of people kicked out of band. She is forced. She chooses, but she's also peer pressured to join the tuba section. She like picks up a sousaphone and is like, okay, I'm learning a brand new instrument. Let's go. And she's stuck in that section with 7 other people who've been sort of shuttled out of their sections to fill up this low brass section. And most of them are freshman boys. So they're, the little dwarves, most of them are not literally shorter than her, although maybe, but they're that kind of like a little bit more immature. Interestingly, for her, that also becomes the group that she feels at home in.
I'm excited about that one. Yasmin is such a special character. And I can't wait to see how
she's in This Is How We Fight. She's very young, 10 or
this
11.
one is like a flash forward. She's 15.
I think she's 16.
I'm very excited to see what you have done with the loose retelling, because I love what you did with Cinderella here. Cinderellan. No, I'm kidding. Yasmin, Snow Yasmin, Snowsmin. I don't know. We'll come up with a punny nickname for Yasmin in August. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you everybody else for watching. Don't forget to check out This Is How We Fly. I endorse it. Anna endorses it, obviously. Johnny endorses it. If you needed anybody else to endorse this one, I'm gonna do like a whole campaign, because I love this book. Read it immediately. So yeah, and we will see you in our musical chat soon. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.